The People's Choice. From Mason's Edition, over the hill, Grahamstown, Baintown, from everywhere they're coming. They're the People's Choice, the Saxon Superstars.
Hello? Who's in the morning?
Boots!
Finish it.
The People's Choice from Mason's Edition, over the hill, Grandstown, Baintown, from everywhere they're coming. They're the People's Choice, the Saxon Superstars.
Hello? Who's in the morning?
Yeah, your Jordan is finishing.
The People's Choice from Mason's Edition, over the hill, Grandstown, Baintown, from everywhere they're coming. They're the People's Choice, the Saxon Superstars.
George, we're finishing.
Will you be my light? When I cannot see, when I can't take another step on the
Open it there. Open it there. Turn.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. One, two.
Ready? All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us here this evening. My name is Charlotte Green, Chairman of the Coalition of Independence. It is so wonderful to see you all here this evening. Some of you came on short notice. So on behalf of every Bahamian sitting in this room, we are happy to have you in attendance. Before we get started, we're going to start off with a prayer. We always would like God in our midst. So, if you smile, please lead us in the prayer.
Father in heaven, we are so appreciative of your grace and the mercies extended to us this hour. We've come together as one people with one voice, one focus. That is that your will be done. Father, we thank you because we believe in you. We believe that you have planned this time and this season for whatever is to take place. And we thank you that what is to take place is in accordance to your will for our life. And so we ask you to sanctify this time, sanctify us as a people, bring us into a state of oneness. Father, we thank you that even as you sanctify this time and sanctify us as a people, we thank you that your will shall be done to your honor and your glory. We commit this meeting and the presenters into your hand now. May they speak those things that be of you, Father, that would bring glory unto your holy name, bring liberty to your people. We ask in Yahshua's name. Hallelujah.
Amen.
All right, we're going to ask Ms. Bennett to lead us off in the singing of the national anthem.
Good afternoon, everybody. Attention for the singing of the national anthem. Lift up your head to the rising sun. March on to glory, your bright banners waving high. See how the world watch the manner of your bearing. Bless you, excel through love and unity, pressing onwards, march together to a common loftier goal, steady onwards. Though the weather high and wide and treacherous show, lift up your head to the rising sun above land, till the road you trod lead unto your God. My God, I pledge my allegiance to the flag and to the bell of the Bahamians, for which it stands one people, united in love and service. Thank you.
March on. One people united in love and service. And this is what we are about. And this is what we are going to be about moving forward. In love and in unity. One people united. Today we have gathered here to find out some information concerning our Constitution, concerning the Citizenship Bills. The mic is going to be open for persons who have questions to ask. We came here to be fully informed and aware. Okay? Once again, for all those who have just arrived, thank you for being here. We have some major discussion to have. Okay, so on our panel, we have Mr. Lincoln Bain, Maria Jackson, Mr. Thompson, and Kara Ellis. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we will have an open mic. We will have an open mic for questions to be asked. You want it? We will have an open mic for questions to be asked. So please do not be shy. We are here to be about the business of our country. Okay? Asking questions is not a sin. We are about the business of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and there are some things that we need to know. Okay? So first person we have up will be Miss Maria Jackson.
Good afternoon, my fellow Bahamians. My people. I don't know what to say, but you know I love my people. Bahamians this afternoon are looking at these bills and their proposal. Let me be honest with the Bahamian people. We haven't seen the draft copy of what their proposal are. I myself had contacted the Attorney General Office, one. I contacted the Bar Council, two. And I contacted the Law Commission. Because me, as a lawyer, I need to see where this new government head is. We, as the Bahamian people, have a right to know what is going to happen in our country and who they are going to let into this country. And I myself am not going to stand by and allow nobody to bring in any kind of people, shut things down our throat, and expect us as a Bahamian people to just accept it. Those days are over. They did it with my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and my mother. And they accepted those things. But thank God, he had some wisdom, and God is all supreme. And he gave me a Lincoln opportunity. Me and Lincoln have so much in common. Former police officer, studied law in London, so our eyes are open up. And the good thing about us is that we decided that we're going to work for the Bahamian people. We're not going to work for the white oligarchs. Because you know when you work for them, what has happened? You got to keep your mouth closed. Like my boss and the police force used to touch me. You can't talk with that. What? But this is a free country. This ain't the place. This ain't the time. Bahamians, even up to this day, I still get calls sometimes, you know. Don't touch certain things. This is a small country. They touch upon your livelihood for years. I say, you know, but God got this. And I want to tell the Bahamian people something after me. See, some of you all don't know about my struggles. And when I went to school, I used to tell them the story. So who was Johnson? No, went to the same church. My last year of school, Bahamians, I cried because two subjects, they were failing me by 1 or 2 points. And I stood in that window. I said, God, I'm ready to go back home to my people and my family. What is going on? Bahamians, God had to stop me in my tracks. Every subject that I did, I studied to go work for the white man. You hear me? Yeah. All the sophisticated subjects I was in. The subjects that I'm specializing in now is the subjects I didn't like. I didn't like constitutional law. I didn't like family law. I didn't like government laws. When God get his hands on you, you could do.
Amen.
And I want to tell you like Christ, and God, why am I failing? He said, because you need to make me a promise. I said, God, if I need to make this promise, you need to tell me what this promise is. He said, you have to go back home to your people. You've got to represent the poor, the downtrodden, and the people who can't help themselves.
Amen.
And I put my hands up to God and I said, God, your will be done. And I said, the Bahamians, whatever I learned in London, when I come out of this earth, I want to leave everything with my Bahamian people. Y'all see, Carol? Next generation, the Joshua generation. Just what I'm all about. Chris, stand up. Next, research man. He's who I'm fighting for. This is my daughter, best friend. These who I'm fighting for. Bahamians, I want to tell you all something. This asylum bill. See, Lincoln is going to demolish this bill. I'm going to put some questions. Government. The new PLP government. Huh? Y'all was elected by the majority of the Bahamian people. Could you tell the Bahamian people why y'all want to bring in an asylum bill coming from countries that the population is 3 and 4 times the Bahamian population? I got a problem as a Bahamian. And why? Watch these 3 countries. Haiti, sorry, I'm gonna touch it. Huh? Jamaica and China. Huh? Why? You don't want us to bring in these people into our country and give them asylum. See, they have a lot of problems, you know. Their problem in their country is not our problem.
Exactly.
Understand?
Amen.
They believe in a different God than we believe in. Understand? When you come into my country, and you don't believe in my same God, I got a problem with you. And I said, I got a serious problem. I don't need you to come in here and contaminate with God bless the Bahamian people there. You see, this country belongs to the Bahamian people. I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying. We are a unique set of people. And you see, we are God-chosen people. But we cannot let nobody come in this country and contaminate us. I got something to tell you all. You'll bring some of these people in here, God would sink this country like never before. Guess what? People serve us for time like this. And we got to keep some stuff out of this country. Watch this, see? I realize now some of them born here, you know. I don't mind they born here, but you need to touch our mantle. And this is a God country, and we are God-fearing people. And I'm tired with these politicians going to our house. See, this is the people's house. We got some PLPs, FNM, DNA here. See, they see their house, you know. It's the Bahamian people's house. And you got to do what's right by the Bahamian people. Put us first. Let me tell you all about what is going on in other countries. Huh? What's the silent violence in their country? Huh? They worship all kinds of gods. And after they do do the damage in their country, they can bring it here. They want us to accept them. And this new PLP, come around with a tell you, oh, we gonna march on you, understand? We accept that in this country like never before. Understand? Oh, we gonna march on them this time. Huh? This is war time. See this bill? We gonna bring this bill. Huh? They can be going to Parliament and we can buy some of these bills and the people of Parliament. I'm tired. Huh? Huh? Who just stepped down our folks and expect us to take it? Huh? Y'all can imagine. We don't even have 500,000 people here. Y'all watch this video, y'all do the math. How much people they get in other countries? You can imagine if we were to get 1 million of them asylum in this country. They'll take us over. And I want to tell the Bahamian people something. You see this new PLP? The citizen they will give up? No. Give them residency where they can't vote in our country. They don't want no part of what's going on in our country. We need to keep them in safe position. They don't have no voice in this country. I'm tired. Bahamians, like you will tell you, see, I had a problem touching this, But you know what I realized? I don't think I want success. But God showed me something. You see, they keep me here illegal, There are the people that come in here illegal. And they want us to ratify their illegalness to make it illegal. We can't have that. Let them stick to our residency. Because guess what? Y'all ain't come here the right way. Your parents ain't come here the right way. Your grandparents ain't come here the right way. So why we can give you citizenship to vote in our country to tell us what we should do? Unacceptable in this country. This is Bahamas. If we don't be the Bahamian people, the organic Bahamian people. You know what is killing us? You want to think that never say? They send more money out of this country than never before. They benefit from everything. And education. Everything. Your children are getting the best education of this country. You know what is happening? They living of us. They sucking us dry. When they get their papers, citizenship, they gave to America to make it much better. But we, the Bahamian people, the PLP, want us to stay here and take this. Oh, I'm ready to march. I'm ready to march. Give them residency, not citizenship. Let it be like it's been England and America. 10 years you wait for your citizenship. Prove to us that you love us. Prove to us you pay our taxes. Prove to us that you pay for these medical bills. I'm tired. We can't allow this to happen. So my fellow Bahamians, let me sit down. And guess what? I get the picture over there. Charlotte, because I'm going to bring on the Joshua generation. And you see this legislature? I'm blow your mind with these Joshua generation, what they're coming up with. We are ready to prove them. Because they can take over this country in another couple of years. Good afternoon, my fellow Bahamians.
Changes here, ladies and gentlemen, changes definitely here. Before we get deeper into this, yesterday I went to do a little light facial, and I had to get some waxing done above here. And while I was laying on the table, waxing is painful. The lady asked me, she said, "Charlotte, are you happy?" I said, "Yes." She said, "You want to know why I asked you that?" I said, "Yeah." She said, because you have this smile on your face. I didn't realize, but she said, you have this smile on your face. I said, she said, yeah. I said, well, let me tell you where I was just now. I was in the New Bahamas. And I told her, I said, if only you could see it. People wonder why we fight so hard. I can see it. I can feel it. I can taste it. I see a Bahamas where our kids are safe. I see a Bahamas where all the Bahamians are benefiting. I see a Bahamas where our elderly are being taken care of. I see a Bahamas for Bahamians. That new Bahamas is going to be built by Bahamians. People are you not afraid? Listen, I am on a mission from God. And I come with kingdom orders for our people and our children. Fear not. We have a country, but we have a country to deliver. We have an obligation to our children. And guess what? There are people who are fighting hard for this country. And if you're fighting and you're sacrificing, then you deserve what you're fighting for. So when I'm asking you, are you willing to fight, sacrifice for our future and the future of our children? Because if you can only see what I see, my God, everybody, I don't care if you're on your job, once that clarion call is made, it's right. Water. Remember we said the old tools will not work. You know what is one of the tools? Victimization. Yes. Victimization. That's one of the oldest tools used to subject people. One of the oldest tools used. Well, guess what? We're not fighting now and worrying about victimization. We have to worry about annihilation. Because they're trying to take our people out. Do not allow your job to hold you hostage for fighting for your country. When you say you're fighting for your country, your children is this country. Their children is this country. Everything that is of this country is your business. Ladies and gentlemen, and I will always say, change ain't coming. Change is here. We're going to have Mr. Thompson on the Constitution, our rights, when it has been violated against. We have to know how to fight when our rights are being violated constitutionally. Okay?
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. I'm happy to see so many people out who are interested in the Constitution. In fact, I can tell you when I started out in 1971, started to look at constitutional law. In fact, people call me Mr. Constitution. The thing is, I take the Constitution very seriously. Now, it is true that most of our people, 95% plus, know little or nothing about the Constitution. The point is, I have a responsibility as young as I am to make sure that the Bahamian people understand that document. What I do is put it in simple, basic, fundamental language, stripped of all the legalese they have in it. You don't need to hear about that. You just want to know what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is evil. And for those who have heard my shows on radio, because I do a lot on radio, I always refer to Article 24.1. 24.1, the very last phrase of Article 24.1. The Bahamian people have a right to protect their interests. Do you have an interest in this country?
Yes.
And the Constitution says you have a right to protect it. You don't have to ask any police officer. You don't have to ask any government. You don't have to ask anybody. It has been entrenched in your Constitution, July 10, 1973, and it says very plainly, no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone. That's right. That's in your Constitution. But do we have people today who are slaves and bondsmen?
Yes.
Do we have people who are trying to keep us in that kind of mold? Well, it's unconstitutional. Anyone who does it. Now, I've been listening to some things that have been coming over. I've got to get an Attorney General's office too. But I have not yet gotten the information that I want. That's right. But I keep my ears open. I hear a lot of foolish talk coming from that office. Yes. I listen to what people say, and Bahamians, let me just say this to you. Allow people to express their views, their ideas, their opinions about the Constitution. If somebody has a view contrary to yours, don't get vexed with them. See, a fellow like me, I just smile when I hear them talk crap. Because I know many people, the average Bahamian, see, my job is to get to the average Bahamian, you know. All I need 150, 200,000 of them, and I'm straight. The thing is that the average Bahamian is the one we have to have with us to be successful into the new Bahamians. Yeah. There are those who will oppose you. And that's expected. The enemy will continue to oppose you. But you have a right to fight. And so anytime when you talk about changing, you have to be well organized. Now we have problems in our community. People don't like this one, don't like that one. So let me tell you something. I got some friends, husband and wife, and none of them tell me they were married. You know. But I'm very friendly with the wife and very friendly with the husband. And when I come to find out, I say, well, you ain't tell me nothing now. But nobody tells you anything. So you have to know how to behave yourself. So you don't get into their personal life, but you get into the business of getting people to understand the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamians. Yes. That is what is important. So we have to bring our people together to understand this most valuable document. I always say to people, it's your salvation document. Look at what those who've had the opportunity to govern this country. And I want you to go and check it for yourself, because I've done my check. I have not seen any evidence where they have told you and me that they're going to govern according to the Constitution. They write some things on one paper. Yes. And tomorrow they change it. Yes. You don't know about it. Then the man to talk about you ain't got enough sense to make a decision on a constitutional issue. They got to make it for you. That is honor insulting and derogatory coming from a minister of the government. I was highly offended over that. But we can deal with that. We have to deal with it. We cannot allow a government or an administration to just walk on you and think because they got elected, they could throw anything in your bill. That's right. That's not right. You have a job to make sure that whoever is elected goes according to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamians. That is paramount and important. The Constitution talks about national commitment to some things. It is the duty of the government of the Bahamas to make sure that those things, that national commitment to unity, national commitment to self-discipline. See the kind of crime baby, you know, there's self-discipline. I don't know of any administration who has gone on a nationwide campaign on self-discipline. I don't know of any. You know of any? I haven't heard of any. As young as I am, I hear. But the thing is, since they haven't done it, it takes you and me to do it.
That's right.
We talked about the younger generation. We got to have these young people. They have tremendous talent and ability.
Yes.
They can do something but young people like me can't. We have to bring them in. That's important, Bahamians.
Yes.
They have a contribution to make to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We can't keep giving away to those people out there. Mr. Jackson spoke about those people who want to come here. They like what we have. They don't care about us. They never did. We are a nation under God.
Thank you.
Not their God, not the dragon God,
Thank you.
not the voodoo God, not them other funny things they have out there. And they want to bring some practices into this country, you know, some fellas snooping around the doors, to bring some wild practices that are not godly, that are not Christian, that don't have any Christian values. We have standard things.
Thank you very much.
And it's entrenched in our Constitution. And we have a duty to make sure whoever is running this place goes according to what's in that document. And so it's important that you get to know it, talk to your friends, communicate with them, be friendly with them, don't get personal with them now. I've been doing it for more than 50 years. And it's always worked. And everywhere I go, people want to talk about the Constitution. Everybody wants to know about the Constitution. I am so delighted to see that the interest has surged enormously over the past several years. But there was a time nobody was checking for no document. Wasn't checking for no Constitution. One man told me that I just paper. I said, you stay right there. So even though a government may do some stupid, foolish thing, your Constitution stands. It is always right. The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas is always right. It is never, ever wrong. Now, people may have their interpretation. They have their views. What's wrong with that? I told someone the other day, a judge on a bench made a decision. It was unconstitutional. My sister peppered me with all kinds of questions. And I studied the document. And I went publicly with it. And I said the ruling of the judge is his legal opinion. Yeah, but trying to be nice to me. But that foolishness and nonsense. But since he says he's a judge, no problem. Legal opinion. But the opinion is not law. 3 days later, the Attorney General took it to court and deal in one case. Because he said the same thing. It's the ruling of the judge is legal opinion. His opinion ain't no better than the woman in Baytown with those 5 boys. The man in Falkland with 6 daughters. The woman in Engliston with 4 disabled children. Anyone can have an opinion of the law. Now, what the law says, that's a whole lot of different stuff. And that's what we need to understand. What the Constitution says you can do legally in your country. So don't get vexed when people have their different views, their different concepts, their different ideas. That's constitutional. There's nothing wrong with that. Now you got to help them to understand some basic, fundamental principles in your Constitution that they can go by and go and talk to their friends about. Then it comes to law, Article 52(1). Parliament. You know what Parliament is? Parliament consists of Majesty the Queen. She's the longest reigning personality in our Parliament. A lot of people don't understand that. She's parliamentarian. The Constitution says that. Parliament consists of Her Majesty the Queen, a House of Assembly. That's Parliament. How long has she been there? 77 years. Long time. But the point is that your Parliament may make laws what? For the peace, one. Order 2, good governance 3, Article 52, 1 of your Constitution tells you. Now, if they make a law like this crap they got here, or propose to bring, and they don't meet those 3 specific requirements according to your Constitution, what happens to it? It's not constitutional thing. For the peace, 1, order, 2, good governance, good governance. And you want flood the place with all kinds of strangers, foreign and outsiders. That's not good governance. That's why you have to be careful who you stand to represent your national interests.
Yes.
All these funny things they sign. I remember a person calling into a radio show and asked, what is the CEDAW thing? What that is? Most of you have never heard about it either. Now, some people know about it. That's fine. But the overwhelming majority of people, the government has signed on to agreements what you and I know nothing about.
That's right.
That's wrong.
That's right.
They're supposed to bring it to you. And then you make a determination. When it comes to constitutional issues, it must be done by a referendum.
Yeah.
Can't say he want a referendum.
Yeah.
Talking foolishness. Meaning he's telling you, you ain't got enough sense. But when they won, listen to this now, September of last year. September 16th, okay. Thank you very much. 32 seats, and the other fellows got 7. They didn't say, listen, maybe they made a mistake, maybe we're supposed to get 10, and the rest go elsewhere. They run with it. Then the fellows before them got 35, and the other fellows had 4. They say, maybe the Bahamian people made a mistake. Bahamians can't have your cake and eat it too. They run with it and say they have a mandate to govern the country. Well, you can't look at it on one side, and then when it comes to the other side, people don't know what they're doing. When the Bahamian people vote in a referendum, they know exactly what they're doing.
That's right.
Their decision is final. We must tell that to a government and let them know it's the people of the Commonwealth of Bahamas that must change the Constitution.
Yeah.
Without that, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at a pivotal point in our country. This is serious. We are right now in the middle of making history. We are going to be this generation that truly fights.
Yes.
Who are going to fight for true liberation and independence in this country. I want to see our people benefit and treated like people. Every single ministry, we should be receiving top-tier service.
Yes.
Every foreign company that comes into this country to employ our people, we should be shareholders and not only laborers.
Yeah.
We are more than just laborers, Bahamians.
Yeah.
We should not be used as the labor force for the world. Bahamians are not slaves. My children are not slaves. And in the back of me stands a generation that I will not let the vipers take away. I have an obligation to my generation. And when I say my generation, I am not talking about just my bloodline. I'm talking about all the children of this country. one child and that's it, they done. Our people are disappearing. Our population is diminishing and the other populations are exploding. We are being silently annihilated. Yeah. And a lot of people are still sleeping. If we don't do something right now, and I have to be blunt when I say this, if we don't fight this fight now, our children will not be able to fight the fight that is going to come. Yeah. We don't want that for them because they will be outnumbered. Yeah. We do not want that for them. It is our obligation to our children to preserve a country for them to grow up and to fight for a country, to cultivate. Right now, I feel like we are the last Mohicans. Because after us, who will stand and fight boldly? Bahamians, we have one more strike to give. And we have to give a powerful fight. We have to give a powerful blow. We have one more fight left. Let me tell you something. Division is a serious thing. This. And then you have this. And then you have this. Trust me, this represents something. I just want to draw a point. You have this. Then you have this. Then you have this. But we are united, so we are this. And we are going to give a powerful blow. We are going to protect our democracy. We are going to protect our freedom. This country is going to be governed by the Constitution. Amen. And no man, no woman, no child, no foreigner is going to tell us how to run our country. Yeah. Remember, Bahamians, we were always quiet. We always were passive people. We still are. A subservient people. But guess what happened? We are starting to speak. Yeah. We are finding our voices. Yeah. And because we are finding our voices and we are speaking, we are now being labeled as xenophobe. Yes. We are being classed all kinds of things. Yes. We went from being a people who are sleeping, who don't stick together, who we just not about that life. But someone planted that seed somewhere and it spread like a weed to our generation, saying Bahamians don't stick together, Bahamians don't work together. They kept on speaking it, and then we believed it. And we started separating ourselves from each other while other people came here sticking together and drawing a wedge between us. But let me tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of country, that must change. That must change. We shall have a new Bahamas. I'm going to let Carol bring a few words to you all.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. We, the Bahamian people, are being faced with major problems in these troubling times. But the one with the most risk at this time is an identity crisis. On the 12th of August, 2022, Attorney General Ryan Pindo had the testicular fortitude to not only tell Bahamian people that a passport Bahamian was going to be redefined by this administration, but to also, in essence, call us, the Bahamian people, dumb and incapable of making the right decision when voting in national referendums, as my dear friend, Mr. Constitution, identified. Yeah. I am so happy that you said. Amen. According to the Tribune article, wrong results. Attorney General says no to third referendum. Ryan Pinder was quoted as saying, look at what happens in referendums. He said, when asked about referendums, a lot of the time, the right thing doesn't get done. We are about governing for the right thing. We will do it and do what is correct. And the judgment in this instance is that we go by legislation. And that's just my opinion. I have detractors in that opinion, he said. And I have people with contrary opinions. That's fine too, he said. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but that is the opinion and my recommendation to the Prime Minister. This and former administrations, this isn't the first time that they tried to change who is a citizen inside of the Bahamas and how it is done. This and former administrations have tried to use the Bahamas Nationality Act in order to change this. But do you realize that this defines who are the inheritors and beneficiaries of our nation? According to the Constitution, you, the Bahamian people, you are the partakers and beneficiaries of the Bahamas. If we allow this to happen now, as my dear friend Mr. Constitution said, it's not only going to be this administration that changes it, because they always make these legislations, bring them back up when they're ready to change it, and do it all over again. So it won't only be this one, it'll be everyone after. So this would allow politicians to choose who they want to be accountable to and what demographic suits their political bias. Are we going to allow that behavior? We cannot give this ultimate power to the small group of people inside of the House. This is the most blatant display of dictatorship and oppression in our nation since emancipation and majority rule. So I have some questions for the man that said all of this about us, the Bahamian people, the Attorney General Ryan Pinder. Number one, if we claim to be a democratic nation, how can you isolate the demographic? It's literally in the name, democratic. Number two, how can you tell Bahamians that because they want the laws of citizenship to be defined by our constitution in a constitutional monarchy, that we are making the wrong decision? And number three, if we look at our nation for what it is, a constitutional monarch, how can you make laws that would essentially amend the Constitution without even so much consulting the Queen if you're going to ignore the people? So in conclusion, Mr. Attorney Ryan Pinder, and any politician that allows this motion to stand and pass is at risk of national offenses, otherwise known as mutiny, by overstepping not only the Queen, but also the Bahamian people. But since Ryan Pinder wanted to talk about opinions and he was stating his opinion, I got a question. Attorney Ryan Pinder, are you claiming that the majorities in a majority rule nation, our opinion does not matter based on the fact that we had two referendums, two, where we said no?
But the right
Is your supreme? Is your opinion the ultimate? We are not a dictatorship. And I am personally appalled to see that this administration is seeking to continue the legacy of the former administration, Prime Minister Hubert Alexander Minnis. They are attempting to use their power to give the Bahamian people essentially ignoring their and crushing their majority rule. That guess what? Since this is the PLP that is currently in power. Wasn't it Solomon Pinley that fought for this majority rule? Thank you, Bahamas.
Joshua generation. And let me just tell you, she is one of many.
Yes.
We have a lot of young people in this country who are trying to tear through the seams, but they're waiting for you. They are waiting for you, the parents, the adults, to make a way.
That's right.
We cannot fail them. Can't fail me because I just one of the young people too. I am too. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we are in a very serious time. These are some very, very dark days. And like I said, we are not only fighting the physical. Whenever you are trying to free and empower a nation, especially a black nation,
That's right.
when you are trying to empower people on the whole, you will be met with forces unseen. You have to come prayed up. We're not only fighting the physical. There are some forces that you can see. We are being attacked on all fronts. And this battle is not for the weak. And I must say, to our women, I applaud you.
Yes.
To our men, thank you for being the backbone. Thank you for being the backbone. We cannot do nothing without you. You are very important. And we can see the enemy attacking our men in their families, on the job, in the streets, everywhere. We must continue praying for our men. They are our protectors. We have a kingdom to bring up, and we need our king. Change ain't coming, ladies and gentlemen. Change is here. I'm bringing on Mr. Lincoln Lee.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to stand to your feet for me. Before I proceed, I want y'all to raise your hands to God because y'all know my leader was in the hospital. And God is a deliverer. And who God kept is well kept. And I want y'all to just thank God for bringing him back home safe to the Bahamian people. That's all, you know. Just clap and thank God for bringing him back home safe to the Bahamian people. Bahamians, before I proceed, I got Bishop Simeon Hall sitting in this place. And I wanted to stand up, the man of God. Bishop Hall, could you please stand up? I got to walk towards this man. I used to go to Pittsburgh, and this man used to beat me. He used to beat me. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And Mr. Hall, this afternoon, I mean, he was bigger than this. But I want to tell you, I appreciate you for what you did for this country, and for what you did in this organization. And I want to thank you for coming here, to listening, to prove your students, because Lincoln went to join Princeton too. I don't know if you know that. But guess what? Y'all understand this, y'all trained some real soldiers. You understand? I'm not a product, even though you used to be me every week. But God is good. And I want to tell you, let me give you a hug, sir. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a friend. They talk everything about him. And they tell me all kinds of things about him. But this is a man, he got the Bahamian people interest. Let me tell you about him. What some people don't know, when I call him, he'd be sickened out and down and out. I said, the Bahamian people need your help. Trust me, he helped more PLPs. They crucify us. He never ever said anything. He came to the Bahamian people rescue. And so it gives me a pleasure this afternoon to present my leader. And you see, our leader. Yes. Huh? It's the Lincoln. Huh? All of us were police officers together. So he knows it is to fight to be a warrior. And I told God something. As long as Lincoln being for the Bahamian people, I will stand by him. But if he turn me back on the Bahamian people, I gotta turn my back on him. And I know he ain't gonna turn his back on the Bahamian people. So this afternoon, let me bring on my leader. Our leader. Excuse me. Lincoln Bean, is a pleasure to have you back home. And I want you to speak to the Bahamian people like never before. I want you to clap your hands to bring on our leader this afternoon. JJ coming! JJ coming!
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, someone can fix that camera for me right there. Put it down a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 days ago, I had the awesome opportunity to spend the night in the hospital for the first time. It was just a little bit more. It was extremely interesting. But when you have these kind of incidents in your life, it's a wake-up call. That life is short, and you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do it now. You got to do that. Before I say what I have to say, I also want to give homage to a man who taught me all the big words I know. But he taught me half, and Charles Sanders taught me that half. But Charles Sanders beat me if I could pronounce him right. But sitting in the audience is Dr. Simeon Hall. He beat me more than my daddy beat me. So he has beat the people on the majority of the people in this panel. But for the good. Because foolishness is in the heart of a child, and the rod of correction drives it away from them. And so I want to thank you for your contribution to all of our lives. So if anyone has an issue with me, blame him. He treated me. So thank you, Bishop Hall. I just want to say that I went to the States because I had a family emergency. I had to deal with another family member who had some medical issues. I never thought that I would be in the situation that I was in. And I was on the phone at about 11 o'clock with Ms. Green, actually. And she says all she knows is that I went blank and the phone went blank. All I remember is being on the phone in the middle of a conversation, and I blinked, opened my eyes, and I heard the phone ringing. And I was kind of confused. I didn't know what was going on. I just heard the phone ringing, but I was just on the phone. And so I answered the phone, and it was Ms. Green on that line, panicking, wondering what had happened. And I looked at my missed calls, and her, Maria, and half of Nassau was out looking for me, and they was getting ready to send Basra to the Defense Force, and and Biden and Putin and everybody. And they said they didn't know what happened to me, because that's very strange. I answer my phone all hours of the night because Bahamians are going through trouble all hours of the night. I can't turn my phone off. People tell me to turn my phone off, but I can't. Because when someone is going through something, you know, one there to help them, I got to be there. I'm not looking for reward on this side. I'm not looking for praise on this side. I know my reward is coming on the other side. But I had to take my son to the doctor. And so as I got up and I was talking to them, I started to feel pain in my hand and the tingless and the pins and needles and that kind of stuff. And but I wasn't important. My son had to go to the doctor, and if he missed that appointment, he would have to wait a long time to get another one, and that was happening. So I ignored everything and went to the doctor with my son. Afterwards, I told my son's mother what was going on. She is a nurse and she specializes in that area, the heart. And she said, that is symptoms of heart attack or stroke. Why didn't you tell me something? And I said, well, this was more important. And she said, we have to rush you to the hospital now because hours had passed. But God was with me. And so I went to the hospital. She rushed me to the hospital. I went to the hospital and I had an experience at the hospital that was mind-blowing. You know, I'm from the Bahamas, and I used to, you know, being treated rough sometimes in the hospital or being ignored sometimes, and, you know, and you know, but I've never really had to get treatment for a sickness. I got injured a couple of times, but I've been to the hospital with a lot of people. When people call me, I come, you know, I'm there with them. And so I've seen the experiences that people have gone through. Let me tell you something. Within minutes, and when I say minutes, I mean minutes. The doctors, plural, several, had come out, seen me, had done an ECG immediately. They took me straight to do a chest x-ray immediately. I did my labs. They did all of my labs just like that immediately. And I had a CAT scan. All of that within about 10 minutes. Thank you. All of that within about 10 minutes. And these people were not just professional, you know. These people were treating you like a human. They were talking to you, they actually sounded concerned. Everyone who come there, I don't care if it was the janitor picking up something. You know, they seeing how you doing, they talking to you, making sure you're okay. And not just males doing that to everyone. I said, wow, what's this strange place I'm in? It's like I'm in the Wizard of Oz or the Twilight Zone. In 10 minutes, I had all of that. Now, the bad news is that, oh, and I was in a bed. Yeah. Now, the bad news is that the ECGs came out abnormal in the test and everything, and so I seem to have had a major issue. And the doctors were extremely concerned. And they started talking to me about how I'm going to have to stay in the hospital. And well, me, how long? I got a flight to catch. Boss, I got to go fight for my country. He said, you're going to be fighting for the country this weekend. I said, that's what you think. Right. And so everything was bad. By the next morning, they did tests. They continuously did tests. Continuously did tests. But by the next morning, they did a heart CT scan. It's called a CTA. They did more tests and they did more things. By the next day, I was in perfect health. The doctors were puzzled. There was no sign of anything that they had seen the day before. In fact, a whole team of doctors came in there to see me because it didn't make sense. And when I say a team, I'm talking about the 15 doctors came in that little room to see me standing around as they questioned me because nothing made sense. As it didn't make sense to you, but I was born 45 years ago. to attend a meeting that's happening on Sunday. We gotta do stop that. So they said, boy, for your safety, we still gotta keep you in here and we gotta check out some stuff. And I said, check out all you want to check out. I got nothing to do right now. I said, Sunday, check out all you want to check out. And they did some more tests. And the doctor came back to me, humble with his tail between his legs, and he said, all I can say is go home. And so there are many people who don't believe in God. My belief in God has nothing to do with the Bible. It has nothing to do with a religion. My belief in God has to do with my personal experience with Him. Because every time I have called Him, He has been there. And so that has been my experience. So ain't nothing they can tell me about the Bible and they don't like this and they don't like that and whatever. Prove Jesus. Me? Jesus can prove me. He's proven himself to me. That's the end of that. And you don't believe? That's on you. Oh, I've never seen him. Yeah. You believe us? No? Oh, you believe in that, right? Okay. You see a tiger? No? Oh, okay. But I just wanted to say that that's what they wanted to give you on before I go on. And God is good. God is good. And so, of course, we are going to be a government for all Bahamians. We don't care if you believe in God or not. That's between you and God. We don't care about any of your personal beliefs. But I just tell you mine. All right? And that's where I stand. So I just want to thank everyone who's come out today. I am blown away by the turnout. I don't give yourselves a round of applause. The standing room only is overflow. I am proud of all of you Bahamians. Now, you know, government trolls, etc., political trolls like to say, I like to get people emotional and that kind of stuff. But that's not really what I'm about. So guess what today? You're going to get emotional, but not because of any gaslighting, not because of emotionalism. You're going to get emotional because of the information that you're about to get. We got the document they was talking about. You know, we always got documents, right? Okay, just so you all know that. We got it. And I can read from it. And you may laugh, you may cry, you may get angry. But all I want you to do at the end of this, stand up. There are some things that you don't like, you can't allow in our country. All I ask you to do is stand up. You see, what politicians do is they have this strategy that I learned, this political science. They don't come directly at the people. All right? They deceive you with Trojan horses.
Yes.
If they want to get something passed, they'll tie it inextricably to something that they know you would want and that they know they can sell to you, but it's the other thing that comes with it. It's like when people used to have that meat package. You know, there's something in there that you would never buy on your own, but you're just going to take that with that package. So the government is trying to put that meat package on us. They know you want a spare rib. They know you want a steak. But something in there that you don't want, and he normally can't sell, but it's right in that bag. Take that turkey. And so that's the purpose of this bill that they're trying to pass. I don't want you to be deceived. You will spend the next hour with me reading the bill. Because they deceive our people by putting stuff in writing. Because they know you all want to sit down and hear what's in writing. You all will go get anything. That's what you all want. But I want you all to get a full understanding. And our mission from the beginning has been about educating the people. Because it's one thing they fear more than anything else.
That's right.
It's the people with knowledge. The most powerful thing that you can have is knowledge. And there's only one thing more powerful than that. is understanding. They don't want you to understand what's really going on, and they're terrified. Let me tell you what was really going on. Our sources, you know, we got sources everywhere. That's why me and Maria can't sleep. Most of the time we're on the phone getting information. We have people in every single ministry in this country, every office, everywhere. They are patriots who are giving us the information. Minister was trying to pass this bill. He wanted to. He didn't bring it to the public because he didn't have enough political capital at the time when they were trying to do it. Things were getting a little rough for them. And you need some political capital to push this bill, what they were trying to push down our throats. And so this government took over. It's still on their agenda to get all of these things passed, but they have to watch how they do it. They have to be careful. They see how the Bahamian people turn on minutes, and they don't want that to happen to them so early. But they still have pressure to pass all of these things that you're about to see. But now what they're doing is, they are saying that what they're going to do is they're going to boil a frog. Anyone ever heard how you boil a frog? You just keep turn it up gradually, and the frog will sit right there and not even notice that the water is getting hotter and hotter until he will sit right there and die. And that's what's been happening to you. They've been boiling us for almost 50 years. And we've just been taking it, and taking it. And everything that could benefit us, they push it down the road, push it down the road. You got your Freedom of Information Act yet? No. You ain't getting it. That's right. Kick it down the road. You got your Sovereign Wealth Fund yet? Just not getting it. Kick it down the road. And so what they decided to do is they said, listen, we can't put all this stuff in there at the same time. And you know why? This is the information they were in the meeting. In the meeting, while he was talking about how they're going to do this, but first I said, remember, Ryan Pitt had come out and said that they was planning on doing, Pete Bell said they were planning on doing an asylum bill. He said it. Because what politicians do is they test you first. They test to see how the people are going to respond. And if you respond, they come back and say, oh, we was talking about that. Oh, we're not going to do it. But if you don't respond, then they're going to push it. So that's what they do. They test the temperature. And they've been doing this for a very, very long time. They've been doing this. Oh, we got some sound effects. Don't worry about that. And so they said, because of Lincoln and Maria them, we can't just push this bill like that. They can dissect this and tear this apart. They didn't say because of any other party, including the opposition. Because they know the opposition want to push this too. They said because of us, they gotta take out and dissect. And so what the plan is that they'll push the one that they think you'll accept first, put it on you, let it go through, and if it went through okay, then they put the other one. All right, and if they don't go through because you fight it, and at least they got that first piece in. So they're now going to separate it. And so, whereas at first they were saying, oh, we're going to push this asylum bill, and we're going to push this bill and that bill. Now they're saying, oh, we're going to separate it. They're trying to separate themselves with because they know what he was coming with. Yeah. And so now they're saying that they're pushing the same thing, but they're going to push it individually. Okay? One at a time. One at a time, they're going to push it down your throats. And I'm going to show you what they're about to push down your throat. And you are not going to like it. If you are a real Bahamian, you are not going to like what you are about to hear. And so I'm going to give you the facts. You make your decision, and then we decide what we're going to do with them. Yeah. Right? Now, what I want everyone to understand, Professor Sidney Walter MacArthur Thompson, yes, I know all these couple names. He's a constitutional expert. Like you, A.B. said, no one should go against the Constitution. No one. We live in a democracy. And a democracy means the rule of the people. Before it was the rule of monarchs and rule of dictators, etc. Democracy means the rule of the people. What does that mean? It means that you cannot go against the people. I have no problem if you want whoever you want, as long as they're Bahamian, they get that citizenship. If you want me to give citizenship, you want me to give citizenship, cool. I have a problem with the Trojan horse you're trying to put in there with it. When they were bringing this referendum the last time, they were fooling you to think that this was about gender equality. It was not. It was about Article 4, Question 4, which was the homosexual marriage clause. That's what it was about. And they were tricking you by putting the other stuff that they know that you would want. And I was all over the radio telling people, they don't even have to go to referendum for this. They could just go and pass a law. But you see, because they went to referendum and they heard the people's opinion, they got an order from the people and they can't go against it.
Thank you.
All right? That's jurisprudence. Let me break this down for you in a way you can understand. Let's say I am the owner of a business and Marie is the manager of that business. I own that, she managed that. All right? I have say what I want to have say, and she has say because I empower her, right? The government is the manager of our affairs. All right? Politics means the affairs of the people. That's Latin. It means the affairs of the people. All right? And so the manager can make whatever decision they want. They run things. But if me and the other owners have a shareholders meeting,
That's right.
and at that shareholders meeting, we have a vote, and we decide at Chick-fil-A, we're not going to open on Sundays. The manager can't say, well, the hell with y'all. Y'all don't know what y'all doing. I am the manager. Chick-fil-A should open on Sunday. You're losing billions of dollars by not opening on Sunday. But we say we're not opening on Sunday. Now, if you never got the instruction from us, that's different. But we did not do referendums.
That's right.
And so it is going to, and we said no.
That's right.
Some of us said hell no.
That's right.
And so based on that, you can't go against the people. Now, if you never had asked us, that's a different story. And that's one of the reasons with the lottery bill that they wanted to pass, they went and changed the law to allow an opinion poll.
Yeah. That's correct.
Because an opinion poll is different than an instruction from the people.
Yes.
A referendum is an instruction from the people.
Yes.
And so to go against that, you are putting yourselves in problem as a government, and it will not hold up in court.
That's right.
Now, the government is allowed to pass whatever law they want to pass, and no one can stop them. The government can pass any law, but that does not mean that that law will hold up.
That's right. That's right.
There's been many instances that we have already had. The government can do what it wants, so that's power to do what it wants. Remember, there was, so after election, the FNM won, and Ingram consulted with Perry Christie, and then he went and appointed a senator. And that senator was and this was for the independent position of senator, because you have to have an independent. And Ingram put someone there who was known to be an FNM.
Yeah.
And Perry Christie was like, no, you can't put an FNM there, you need an independent there. And Ingram was like, all the Constitution says is that I have to consult with you, doesn't say I have to do what you say.
Right.
There's the law, and then there's the spirit of the law. And so when it went to court, the court told Ingram, you don't know what you're talking about. There's the spirit of the law. Despite what it says there, you know that you cannot put somebody who's not independent and that's against what the other side would allow. So you are not the king. Okay? You remember the same Ingram administration, the same Ingram administration passed a law for minimum sentences for guns. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it did not hold up in court. The court said, no, you are interfering with the powers of the magistrate to determine the minimum sentence. Now, if you want to say the sentence is 10 years, say the 10 sentence is 10 years. But you can't tell them they have to start from here. And so even though he had put that law in place, the court said every time it went before the court threw it out. Threw it out. Even though the law said that, the court threw it out every time. Huh? Because there's the executive, the parliament, judiciary.
Yeah.
All right? Legislation and judiciary. And the judiciary is the defenders of the Constitution.
Yes.
The judiciary is more powerful than the king. It is the judiciary that held back King James and told him you don't have all power. Told him Parliament got the power now. The judiciary was able to do that. And that's when power came from the king.
Yeah.
And it went to Parliament not because of who they are, but because they represent the people. Because the crown really represents the people. I hope you're learning something. And so this is the difference. Remember they had the road works, they didn't consult with nobody, and the court said, no, you got to consult with people.
Yeah.
For them. You work for the people.
Yeah.
You are a manager. Stop forgetting your role. You can't come to the people and say, we can do what we want and you all can go to hell. That is not working law. And it will not stand up. That is why whenever people come out to the square in large numbers and say the government got to go, the government has to step down.
Oh, yes.
You see it happen all over the world. Probably the only country where that doesn't happen is here in the Bahamians. Because they have us so politically divided. That we ain't gonna go, that's our government. No, if the people come out, they can step down. I'm gonna let, I need some power for this. Someone help me with that. Actually in Haiti last year, 1 year ago in Haiti, the president at the time was trying to pass a constitutional referendum. They were going to mess with the Constitution for their purposes. That's what the president was trying to do. The people came on the streets in large numbers, right in Haiti, last year. And let me tell you something. That president didn't even survive the year. There's a lot going on in Haiti, you'll understand. He was trying to change the Constitution.
Oh, okay.
That's what he was trying to do. He didn't even survive that. They were trying to change gas prices at one time. Then people go on the street and say, no, that day, like, gas ain't going up. Can you imagine that? When they babies and have that kind of nerve. We just say, oh, but you gotta pay it. The MP say you gotta pay it, you gotta pay it. They said, no. We can tell you what the gas prices could be. So I'm gonna go into this act and I'm gonna let you hear the diabolical stuff they're trying to throw down our throats. But before I go into this, I just want to let you hear from Bishop. He's been sitting here for a while. I want you to hear from him. He got to go. I want to give him the respect of letting him speak and say something. Bishop Simeon Hall, you may have the floor.
I'm not surprised with Lincoln Bain. When he was in school, he was always starting something. And he succeeded. All I want to say to you, all of you, is if you believe in something, support it. You might even, unless somebody, but Thompson said, respect the rights or the position of other people.
Yes.
Listen to them, but you hold to your point.
Yeah.
And bring it. We do need change. And in so many ways of country. I'm glad to see Brother Lincoln in good health, and I ask you to continue to give him your support. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Thank you for your support and for those kind words. So you're ready to dive into this nonsense? All right. You see, some people said from last week, oh, we need to go and hit the streets. No, you got to know what you're hitting the streets for. See, when I come out, I know why I'm coming out, and I know I right. And that's why they can never challenge me. I've been doing this over 20 years, and not once were they ever able to challenge a word that has come out of my mouth or any action that I've done. Never once have they been able to do that. So today, I'm calling on Bahamians to educate yourselves. And so we are going to educate ourselves. First and foremost, the government was actually in the process of passing an act. It was a diabolical act. This is what Minister wanted to do. You heard him come out saying he was going to do the same thing. This is what he was going to do. But this government is dissecting it. They're going to try to push it on you piece, piece. They hope you just accept this stuff being pushed down your throat. And so the government was going to pass the Nationality Immigration and Asylum Act nonsense that they didn't get a chance to push through. The purpose of this act is stated in section 122 of this act, all right? And the act, I think it's on our website right now. And so if you want to follow me on your devices, if you have internet, you'll be able to do that. Let me just make a double check, make sure it's actually on our website. It should be there. Just make sure it's there for y'all. And then you'll be able to just follow on your devices. And you can go to the page on our website that says COI TV. It wasn't there a minute ago. It should be there now. What's happening here? Okay. It's not showing up there. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and put this on the front page of our website. Because, you know, we don't like to kill trees. We like to save trees. Like we're doing on the Crown Line right now. We're saving trees from being burned for coal. So in order to save some trees, what we do is we're going to put this right on the front page. I'm gonna do that for you right now. Just give me 1 sec to get this on there for you, because I want all of you to be able to see this. See, we want an educated populace. We're not like those older days political parties just want you to be stupid and foolish to jump up and down and shake pom poms. We want you to know why you're shaking that pom pom. That's what we want. Shake that pom pom for sense, not for nonsense. And then you go into the outside, turn it into the pump. All right? And then coming back and shaking pom pom. My MP, making MPs millionaires. While they raping and robbing you. It's processing. Just give it a second. In the meantime, I'll get started. The purpose of this new act, because Ryan Pinner started talking about, oh, it's too big, and because it's so big, they got to do it piece. He said it's 111 pages. There's a reason that it's 111 pages, and it's a reason why it's so big. The reason it is because this isn't an amendment. This wasn't an amendment. The intention was to repeal the Immigration Act. So the Immigration Act that protected us and protected our interests, section 122 of this new diabolical act would have repealed the whole Immigration Act.
That's right. Yes.
The whole thing. That is section 122 of it. That is why it's 111 pages, because it's a whole act. It's not an amendment they was trying to bring. And so this is where the problem comes in. This is why it's so big. They was dealing with all of these issues at the same time and changing the entire Immigration Act that protects us.
That's right.
That has certain things in place to protect our borders. They was just wholesale getting rid of that.
That's right.
Section 122 for persons who are taking notes. Section 122 of the Act. All right, we loading it onto the website right now. Start to sign in again. That's what the purpose was. And so this wasn't just what they normally do. Let's just add this in there, add that in there. No, they was obliterating our entire nationality. The nationality, I'm going to read it for you from the beginning to tell you what they was obliterating. And they started by telling you what they was obliterating. Right, the internet just a little bit slow. I want to put this because I want you to see this as I'm doing this.
Again, you can imagine if Dr. Minnis was still in power when he passed this out.
If Dr. Minnis had gotten back in power, I don't know where we would have been.
It's about to say.
All right? But guess what? These fellas are continuing.
Put a stop to them though.
So let me go to the beginning of this act and read this from the beginning to you. The act is on the website now. If you refresh, it's on the seal, it's on coalitionofindependence.com. It's right there. I put it right in the front page so that you could read it. So turn in your Bibles to, you're going to the exact beginning of the act. All right? And the act starts. Listen carefully. This is your children's future. This is your future at stake. I know you might have some things to do. The macaroni might still be in the oven. Let it burn. Or your country will burn. Ladies and gentlemen, this act is called the Nationality, Immigration, and Asylum Bill. All right, 2018. The bill says, and they never read this to y'all, they never release it to y'all. Even when they talk in the media, they don't go into it because it's some secret thing that they didn't want y'all to know. Well, you know, we are revealers of secrets.
That's right.
Because we work for the one who is a revealer of secrets.
That's right.
And the bill says, a bill for an act to repeal the Bahamas Nationality Act and the Immigration Act and reform the law on nationality and immigration and to make provisions for asylum and for connected purposes. What the hell is a connected purpose? So I'm on page 7 if you're following on your devices. That's where it starts. A bill for an act to repeal the Bahamas Nationality Act. That's your nationality act that protects you. The act I was reading online the other day. To get rid of that. The Immigration Act, get rid of that. And to reform the law on nationality and immigration and to make provisions for asylum and for connected purposes. And so section 124, section 124 of this act, for those who follow it, does 122 does exactly what I said to you. It repeals the Immigration Act. Repeal. The Immigration Act, chapter 191, is hereby repealed. All right? This is what they were planning. Okay? And so I'm going to start with the asylum part of this. Then we go to the citizenship part. This citizenship part has some stuff in it that's going to blow your mind, but you're going to see the real secret agenda behind this. This ain't nothing to do with gender equality. They're trying to open our borders. Right. And I can show you that in writing. They are trying to regularize everyone who came in this country illegal before this day. Yes. That's in writing. Before, whenever they pass the bill.
Yes.
It ain't passed yet.
And this ain't a pass. We can burn this.
I can show you that.
Burn this.
Anyone who was born here to legal parents, they're trying to change the law to say that you have a right to be here. They're trying to say no one can move you, no one can touch you if you came here illegally. That's what this bill is about. This is not about gender equality. Wake up, Bahamas. So I can start with asylum part, and we can go to the other part. Let's start with asylum. Asylum part of it starts at 124. All right, 124. If you follow it, go to section 124. That's on page 101. If you follow it, and it says part 4, asylum. Let me read this absolute foolishness to you. It says 124, application for asylum. The subject to the provision of this section, a person who is in legal custody after being refused leave to land, or a person to whom leave to land and remain in the Bahamas has been granted, may apply to the minister responsible for asylum pursuant to provisions of this part, the Refugee Convention, 1951, and any directions given by the minister relating to asylum applications. For the purposes of this part, a person who is at least 18 years of age or an unaccompanied minor or a child, no one with him, the child will go by himself, either one, minor is eligible to make a claim for asylum if its claim is made within 6 months of arriving in the Bahamas. So he can chill. He can chill and take his time. And then after 6 months, say, you know what? I claim asylum, can't touch me. His claim has been made by him at an immigration department, and he is a person who is unable. Listen, you can claim for asylum if you are unable or unwilling to return to your country of origin. Just a bit. Now, you know what I should read this to you all, right? I read it to you all. It says, if he is a person who is unable or unwilling to return to his country of origin, owing to a well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or because he holds a particular political opinion, or who not having a nationality or being outside of a country of his habitual residence as a result of such events is unable or owing to such fear unwilling to return to it. That's anyone. Oh, I don't like it. Change stuff there. Oh, the Giants can't on bad. So I fear going back there. I'm unwilling to go back. Oh, you can stay. It's the bill. It's the bill. Next, subsection 3. Subsection 3. Where a claim is made for asylum, it shall be recorded by the director, and if the director is satisfied that the claim was made within 6 months of the applicant's arrival in the Bahamas, he shall designate the applicant as an asylum seeker. It didn't say that there was some legitimacy to it, or it just say as long as he did it within 6 months, you can't question him. Next, section 4. A person designated as an asylum seeker shall, pending consideration of his claim for asylum, be released from legal custody. If you lock him up and he say, hey, asylum. B, have the right to remain in the Bahamas. The right to remain in the Bahamas. C, be granted assistance for the purpose of his physical and material well-being. That ain't what I mean. That means you that be taking care of them. They're taking care of us. Let me read that again. For Brave Davis to hell. For Ryan Pitt to hell. For Minister here. So when I show up to that house, you know why I'm showing up. Number C, that they must be granted assistance for the purpose of their physical and material well-being. And D, with the permission of the Director of Immigration, have the right to work for himself or for any employer in any occupation and shall be exempt from the payment of work visa fees. Five, subject to subsection 7, the minister is satisfied that for obvious and compelling reasons based on a well-founded fear and persecution, the claimant cannot be returned to his country of origin or nationality, may grant him refugee status, and may make arrangements for his support and accommodation and upkeep until he finds gainful employment. Now you see why they didn't want to get your hands on this bill. There's so much fear for people in this country. Like, many people didn't want to participate in this today because we don't know what the government has to say. You know, we don't know what the bill is saying. We tell it, if you wait till they table this, it's too late. You can't wait till they go to the table. You need to block them from getting to the house. Because they can tell you anything. Like how Perry say, whatever the opinion polls say, we're going to go with it. Then the next guy standing on the side of number man, he got a call, we got to raise $8 million to go get this bill pushed back forward, to go get this legalized. I stand on the side of the number man, he got a call. I'm on speaker. Me. Wow. And the government, someone call him, I can't say the government, someone call him and say, we got to put together $8 million. I call it numbers. To get this, even though they already had a referendum and there was a no, to get this law change. Because see, they know Bahamians make noise for this. Once they change it, they don't do it. What's he gonna do? Tear down the house. Let me finish read. All right, so just so you hear that again, because some of you might think your ears was ringing or something and you heard wrong. It says that the minister must grant them refugee status and may make arrangements for his support, accommodation, and upkeep until he finds gainful employment. So, the only way he can get refugee status is in one of the following instances. It says, if he has committed a crime against peace, war, crime against humanity, or defining a provision for such crimes. All right? If he has committed a serious non-political crime outside of the Bahamas prior to admission to the Bahamas, or if he has been guilty of acts contrary to the purpose and principles of the United Nations. All right, that's the only reason he can be given asylum. Number 7, a person given refugee status under Section 6 shall have the right to remain indefinitely in the Bahamas forever. No, I said forever. Sorry about that. A person, that's what indefinite means. It means forever. There's no end to it. A person given refugee status under Section 6 shall A, have the right to remain indefinitely in the Bahamas. B, subject to the grant of a work visa, have the right to work for himself or for any employer in any occupation. Like how some things reserved for Bahamians? No, 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 no. If they say the word asylum, they can do anything. They could work for themselves, which means they own a business, or for others. In any occupation. Part C, they shall be exempted from work visa fees, but shall pay processing fees, and they shall be issued travel documents and a refugee certificate for the purpose of identification, travel, and for certifying his entitlement to enter and to remain in the Bahamas as a refugee under this part. So, so that is some of it I read. It's on the website. You can read the rest of it. All right. And so also they can actually they can appeal if the government tells them no. Yes. If it's an unaccompanied minor, like they just put their child in the boat and the child to show up, the government have to take care of them. That's section 13. Right? So if I was one of them, and unlike Graham, I am not. If I was one of them, I would be on a boat headed this way too. All right, so that is what it is. So let me tell you what else there is. You actually, that now opens the door for a new business for those who are in people smuggling. Because you could pay, but now that's legal. That ain't just you coming here and live illegally. That's you coming here and the government is going to take care of you. So what they did is they put something there saying, oh, you can't bring someone, smuggle someone in who intends to seek asylum. All right, that, they put a clause in there, and I can read it for you. But if you don't charge them no money, then you could bring them. You're free to bring them. Now, of course, you got who on that boat you think is say tell the government he charge me money. Because the two go back.
That's true.
So where is that? Helping an asylum seeker, that's 128 if you follow it. It says a person who knowingly and for gain facilitates the arrival in the Bahamas of an individual and knows or has reasonable cause to believe an individual intends to claim asylum under section 124 commits an offense is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $3,000. If you pay me $8,000 and the government can charge me $3,000 if I get in, that sounds like some good profit. Section 2. Subsection 2. Subsection 1 does not apply to anything done by a person acting on behalf of an organization which aims to assist individuals seeking asylum pursuant to the Refugee Convention and does not charge for its services.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Get the headache. Get the headache. Hold on. So that's
any organization that. So if I want to bring in the refugees now and charge them money, all I do is I form a company and say I bring in refugees from Haiti to the Bahamas. And listen, when you land, do not tell them you pay me $8,000. Simple. A new legal legitimate business. Simple.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
I wonder which one of those politicians will get them funny name like this thing.
That's right.
It has to be a Bahamian, but vote this bill. Because guess what? Bahamians, I thank you. Listen to me. I still can't believe what I read, right? But this ain't benefit nothing with the Bahamian people. Everything benefit the people on the other side of the water. Huh? What the? When they get hold on, man, who dropped this bill? Huh? Dr. Menace, now you know I don't like you. Dr. Menace, who you want to draft this bill to go table this in our parliament, Lincoln? Huh? What is going on? Everything in your benefit the people. How dare you? Huh? Draft a bill in the Bahamian people parliament. And you know what's so sad? They wouldn't even pass this in Haiti parliament. And they would come pass this here. But Lincoln, we gotta go to parliament, we gotta buy this bill. Oh, we gotta buy this bill, Bahamians. We can't get on our cost. We gotta buy this bill up. Huh? Can't believe this.
So, so all what you just heard, that was the good news. That was the good news. You point that one that way. You got one point at me. That was good news. Yeah. That was good news. Now, make sure you see this for this one. Anyone here from Turks and Caicos? Anyone have family from Turks and Caicos? You know they have this thing called belonging status in Turks and Caicos. It makes you kind of a citizen. All right. So they are now trying to bring belonging status to the Bahamas for them. Not for us, for them. If you follow in, turn in your Bibles to section 60. Grant of resident belonging status. Grant of residence belonging status. Buckle your seatbelt. All right? Buckle your seatbelt. All right? So this one talks about the grant of the 60 grant of resident belonging permit to persons born outside the Bahamas for the commencement, but after the commencement of this act, who are not entitled to citizenship through fathers who are Bahamian citizens by virtue of Article 3(2) and Article 8 of the Constitution. They become belongers. All right? I can skip over section 61. All right, section 61. This gives status to everyone born in the Bahamas to illegal parents. Section 61, I'm going to read it. The grant of resident belongers status permit to persons who, before the commencement of this act, so the other one was after, this one is before. So anyone from now, from back to Columbus, not literally, but from the start of the Bahamas, from the start of the act all the way back, before 1973. All right? Listen, the grant of resident belongers permit to persons who, before the commencement of this act, have failed to apply for citizenship pursuant to Article 7 and 9 of the Constitution. You know how they say Article 7 of the Constitution is where you're born to two illegal parents and then you apply at 18. Let's say you didn't apply. You automatically become a belonger. So it says the Director of Immigration may, on application made in the prescribed form and made in accordance with the the regulations and the directions of the board, grants a resident belongers permit to a person who was born in the Bahamas after July 1973 to non-Bahamian parents, resides permanently in the Bahamas and intends to continue to reside in the Bahamas permanently. C, having attained the age of 19, has failed to apply for registration as a citizen of the Bahamas in accordance with the Article 7 of the Constitution and makes application for a permit under this section within a period of 6 months after commencement of this act. And so that's anyone who failed in all of the history of the Bahamas to apply. This opens the door to not let them in. And you can never move them. They have rights. This is what all of this is about. Wait, there's more. The Director of Immigration made on application made in a prescribed form and made in accordance with the regulations and directions of the board, grant residential belongers permit to a person who was born legitimately outside the Bahamas. So even if he was born outside the Bahamas, outside the Bahamas after July 1973 to a Bahamian woman, resides permanently in the Bahamas and intends to continue to reside in the Bahamas permanently, having attained the age of 21 years, has failed before the commencement of this act to apply for registration as citizen of the Bahamas pursuant to Article 9 of the Constitution, and he makes application, etc., etc.
Hold on a second, hold on. Tell me the people that said, you see what C said?
Mm-hmm.
That means these people them could be registered as citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas after the age of 21. That means they can vote. That means they get a piece of pie. That's right.
Having attained the age of 21 years has failed before the commencement of the act to apply for registration as a citizen of the Bahamas pursuant to Article 9 of the Constitution, and they make an application. Right? No, they become a belonger. A belonger, see, that's what they do. They just said that the belonger has all rights to be here, to work here, and have all these rights. But definitively decline it. All right? Revocation of. No. But they say it's that the belonger has. All right? So let's continue. Let's stay focused. Let's continue. So anyone who isn't straight, you now become a belonger, and you belong. All right? That's what it, and this ain't the silent part, you know, that this question is about. It's the regular citizenship part. They trying to get all of them straight. You see? So all they got to do is hurry up, come on the boat. Once you're there, when we put this in place, you're straight. Just you hurry up, come. That's why they was flooding. I can take questions. They hold on. I just want to read through this. So read through this. Section 63 talks about the general principles. All right? Listen. One sec. Any person who is pursuant to Section 66 express to have the right of abode in the Bahamas shall be free to enter and remain in the Bahamas without let or hindrance except as may be required under and in accordance with this part. So if you have a right to be here, I can read Section 66, which tells you the persons who now have a right. Then you can see what these bills really about. Section 66 is coming. This is the secret. This ain't about gender equality. I can skip over. The section 64. Big one.
It's the big one, for real.
All right. Section 4 gives the rights to children born to legal parents, the right to live in the Bahamas. Watch this. Section 54. Residents and right of abode of persons entitled to apply for registration as citizens under Article 7, 9, and 10 of the Constitution after the commencement of this act. All right? So this is what gives them the power, that Article 7 people. Every person who was born after the commencement of this act or was born after July 9, 1973, but before the commencement of this act, and is entitled to apply at 11 of the Constitution to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas, shall, subject to Section 66, have the rights to abode during his minority, provided that such an application is in the custody, so an applicant is in the custody and care of a parent or guardian who has the right of abode in the Bahamas. So what this is saying is that anyone who is born to illegal parents, that's Article 7, has the right to live in the Bahamas as long as they live in with someone who can be here. That's it.
And that means they can apply for citizenship.
You see, right now, technically, they don't have a right to be here. They're supposed to be shipped back with the parents, according to the Immigration Act, etc., that they're trying to repeal. But now, what they're doing is making it so that if I'm a Haitian, I come to the Bahamas illegally and I have a child, you can't move that child. That child can stay. And then that can make me straight later. Because that child is going to get a passport and that child can give me work permit. If anyone with a passport can apply for you. They can apply for you to become citizen, etc. All right? Deep, but let's keep going. All right? So they have a right to abode. And they say guardian basically means anyone who taking care of the child. Right? They define what guardian is. Why they define what you call the thing is? A belong is. But they define what a guardian is. All right? So where we are now, the person was born after commencement of this act. Okay, every person who was born after commencement of this act or was born after July 1973, but before the commencement of this act, and is entitled to apply under Article 9 of the Constitution to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas shall, subject to Section 66, have the right to abode during his minority, and if he makes application for registration within the constitutionally amended time, shall continue to have the right pending determination of his application for registration, etc. All right? Now, I want to go to the Section 66. Oh, before I go there, I touch on 65, which actually says that if you lost all rights to entitlement under Article 7, you still can stay. All right, residents and right to abode of persons who lost entitlement to apply for registration as a citizen under Article 7 and 9 of the Constitution before the commencement of this act. So remember before they were saying after commencement, that is before commencement. So before commencement of this act, and it says, every person who before the commencement of this act reached the constitutionally mandated age for applying for registration as a citizen of the Bahamas under Article 7 and 9 Constitution and failed to make such application within the constitutionally mandated time shall during the period of 6 months after the commencement of this act have the right to abode, provided that within the said period of 6 months he makes application for some other legal status, etc., etc. So in other words, what they're saying is once I come in place, listen, in 6 months, you all just apply. It don't matter if how long ago you all were supposed to apply, we get you all straight. That is what that is saying. All right, and that's 65. Now we go into 66. These are the persons allowed to enter and live in the Bahamas. They have a whole list. And what politicians do, this is a Trojan horse theory that they have in political science. If many of you study political science, you always hide what you're doing in the middle. Because people might read the beginning, they might read the end, but by the middle they get on. That's why in section 71 of the Constitution, it tells you who is charged. It says the Queen is the sovereign head of the state, basically. All right, in section 71. Should not be the first thing they say who is charged, like in America's Constitution. The first thing they mention is the Parliament and the President. But in ours, they hide it in the middle somewhere. Because they listen, these Negroes, you might read the first part of this and read the pre-fancy preamble, but they ain't never get to 71. Not for many, many years. And so that's what they always do in these acts. So don't pay much attention to the first. Whenever you see them put a bunch of stuff together in an act, they try and hide something. Like whenever they try to give you long contracts to do anything, like them mortgage agreements and all that kind of stuff, they hide something. Go straight to the middle. All right. So this section 66. Persons entitled to land and remain in the Bahamas. Right of abode. So now they're going to start off with some stuff that's very obvious. The persons who have a right to land and remain being in the Bahamas. And then they can get to the sneaky part and then go back to some other stuff. Watch this. This is section 66(1). It says, subject to the provisions of this part, a person shall have the right to abode if he is a citizen of the Bahamas by birth, adoption, registration, or naturalization. It's pretty obvious, right? But notice, these passports they out there selling, and they giving to people, those people can now adopt people, as many as they want. It's another loophole we ignore, and they're doing it now. So when the fella come on social media and say, see, I got passport, I got passport. Now he can adopt anyone he wants to in the world. And they are allowed to come here and live as if they are citizens of this country. I said citizen. Let me tell you the problem I have with this. Again, the gender stuff. Okay. The problem I have is that anyone could become a citizen of the Bahamas by paper, by buying it, and they could be prime minister. Or have any position in this country. Everything. And Bahamians never thought of that. Louis told me when he was younger he wanted to be prime minister. Louis Georges, and I'm saying it publicly, Louis Georges, you said you want to be prime minister. Prime minister of this country. Nobody want out of the country, that's why they live it. I can pause there, and I can give you a little bit of information about the Haitian Constitution. Y'all never thought to read that, eh? In Haiti, you can't come there and become a citizen. Sorry. You can't come there and become citizen and become president or prime minister or senator or any government position. That's their laws. That's their laws. That's their law. And they are strict with that. Remember, Wycliffe John wanted to go home and run? And they said, Even if you are Haitian abroad, you can't run. They strict with that. But guess what? The Bahamas, we don't have any rules as it relates to that. In fact, Haiti has had about 20, I think it's 23 different things that, but 20 different constitution, not edited. They didn't change that amount of times. All right, over 20 something times. They didn't change their constitution. And so when you read it, you gotta read the right version. But there's different versions of that constitution, but they made every effort, and the changes they normally made was to protect their citizenship, their rights, their land, their country. That was the reason they was making changes. All right? But we have sellout governments that want you to sell out to them. All right? So let me tell you what the Haiti Constitution version 1983 said, and it continues. It says, even if you become a resident of Haiti, because after 5 years you can become a resident, you still can't vote.
So same thing they say.
Can't hold public positions. It says after 5 years of residency, one may apply for naturalization. All right, so you become naturalized. So here that means you become a citizen. Not even a resident. You are a citizen. Right? After 5 years, you can't. Yet may not practice political rights until 10 years after the date of naturalization. These political rights include right to participate in the election of the president of the republic. You can't participate. Right to defend and serve the country. You can't be police, military, nothing. Right to elect or appoint to public office, any public office, civil servant, any public office. All right. So, with our people, we're just letting this happen. As a foreigner, you cannot even own land in Haiti. If they give you residency, you can only have land for you to live on. You can't have no other land. If they naturalize you, you gotta wait. If you are Haitian that moved abroad, you can't own land. They made a few edits to some of these rules in 2012, their constitution. So you still gotta wait to participate in public office, etc., etc. But you can never be president of their country, and no foreigner can own land in their country. All right. Now, if you marry a Haitian, the law has some provisions. You will be able to own land. They restrict how much it is, but it's so complicated you will never own it. No one has ever been able to do it. All right. So that's how they protect in their country while we being slack with ours. They calling us xenophobic. Who sounds xenophobic? Their law is xenophobic. All right. So more I want to touch on that, but I'll leave that there for now. All right. Let me go back to our law for a second. Persons entitled to land and remain in the Bahamas, the right of abode. Y'all listen to this. Subject to the revision of this part, I already read that. They said one, a citizen of the Bahamas by birth, adoption, registration or naturalization. You have a right to land and live in the Bahamas. B, the holder of a valid permanent residence certificate. The holder of a valid, so that's obvious. The holder of a valid economic permanent residence certificate. Y'all have heard about that? Y'all didn't know we have economic permanent residence status. Y'all, oh, y'all gonna teach y'all nothing. That's child abuse. That's abuse. That means you got money and you invested at least $500,000. All right. So the holder of a valid belongers residence permit. So now they're saying a belongers, new thing they create, will have rights to be here. You can't move up. E, the spouse or child or of the holder of a permanent residency certificate who is endorsed thereon. F, the surviving spouse of a child or holder of the permanent residence certificate, etc., The surviving spouse or child of the holder of an economic residence certificate. They say obvious stuff now. The spouse or child of the holder of an economic permanent residence certificate. The holder of a valid work visa. The holder of a valid other visas. They talking about other visas here. I can skip them. The holder of a valid EU service supplier permit. Never even ever that.
No, never.
And a person who is a diplomatic, so etc. A person employed in the service of the government, so the government hires a foreigner. So they send you some very obvious stuff, right? I skip over some of them, right? I go straight down to all. All right. Very good. Yes. So I go to S. A person whom Article 7 or 9 of the Constitution applies during his minority. So they are putting this in writing to let you know that while they're a child, they got a right to be here. All right? And you can't move them. They have a right to enter, go in and out of this country. T, a person to whom Article 7 and 9 applies and who has made application to be registered as a citizen pending the determination of his application for registration. Put that in writing. Article 7 people, so even if it is not a child, so the children can't touch them. And even if they're not a child anymore, you can't touch them while they're doing the application process. You, a person to whom Article 7 or 9 applies and whose application to be registered as a citizen is refused pending determination of any appeal. So even if they refuse them for some reason, they get appealed and you still can't touch them. B, a person who at the commencement of this act has lost his entitlement to apply for registration as a citizen of the Bahamas under Article 7 or 9 for 6 months following the commencement of this act or pending determination of any application or legal status made within that 6 months. I have never seen any law, and I know the whole law in the Bahamas, like the back of my hand. Every time a court ruling comes out, the Supreme Court, appeal court, I read it so I'm abreast of the law. I've never heard a law where they repeat something twice. Where they say something, and then they come back in another section, say it again. If you miss it here, see it here too. In case you didn't get it. I've never seen that in the law. Now, you like the Constitution. You ever see that in the Constitution? I've never seen that. They're making sure that this is codified properly. You can't get around this. All right? And they say it in different ways. In case you all didn't get it before, you can't touch them. Next, W, a person who has applied for asylum. So the person who has a right to abide here, live here, you can't move them, they have a right to enter, come and go. Next, W, a person who has applied for asylum, his spouse, and dependents, pending determination of his application. So you can't touch him or his spouse or his children. And all he said was the one English word they could teach him when they come on that boat, asylum.
Yeah.
X, a person who appealed the refusal and continuance, the person who has appealed the refusal, discontinuance, and expulsion of his application for asylum. His spouse, his dependents, etc. So if you refuse them and he appeals, you know, only stuff to take years. Yeah, that's him. 10 years later, he's still here, and guess what? He's been here so long, now he can apply for residency. And so then they start going into other stuff again, but they hit those stuff right in the middle. Do you all see what these stuff is really about? Just do not let them fool you to think that it has anything with gender equality. It has nothing to do with that. It's a Trojan horse. Did you all notice that no one from the media is here? No, all right. Whoever's from the media, raise your hand. Media. Media, no, no. OMG. I'm on Steve McKinney tomorrow. No one? No one? But notice they start to go to the story to give you sympathy for these other people. See how who's doing it. You know, showing you the police officer, the corporal who grew up in the Chinatown. And then he has to grow up in Chinatown. So being town was in the Chinatown. Canberra was in Chinatown. And the concern I have with that, I mean, I'm happy with Judge, I don't have no problem with him, right? But the problem I have with that is that his parents came here, and the police officer, he has a certain amount of beds, every time they have training, then he has a certain amount of seats. And so that means that some Bahamian child was left out. He could have been a police corporation. I live in a house or apartment that I'm in now. Because they got a house and apartment there. They show you the bad parts of it. For you to have sympathy and think, oh, he just poor people. No. 800,000 millionaires. 800,000 millionaires. But they are on a mission. And you can see the actions of the PLP government. Even listen to their PLP trolls on the WhatsApp and social media. Look at what they're defending, because this is the agenda they pushing. And they are doing this to be able to win future elections. That's all not about them. They will sell our country to win future elections. The PLP and the FNM are working together on this. They are working together on this. So these stuff that we are reading right now should terrify you as a Bahamian. It should terrify you. Farmers is going to pay you. I am willing to stand up. Okay, Andrea. I gotta stand up. I don't know if you all stand up. I think the house is closed. When I open up, I think we need to pay them what they said. We need to let them know that we ain't giving up on this country. We got a country to pay. I'm stopping now. I've been going on more to talk about. And I can talk some more Tuesday on our live. Just some more stuff I gotta show you, but we running out of time. I want to open the floor and allow all of you all to be able to speak your minds. All the government officials watching right now. Let them hear you. All of them watching. And so they heard from us. Like I said, yeah, we can use it too. I heard from us, but I wanted to hear from you. That's why I got to stop right there. And we continue when I go live on Tuesday. So don't be shy. You know, the lady with the hall say meet me all the time. They can start turning off the AC in a minute. So I can do without AC for this one. All right? So no, point that there. Point keep this one leave. Point that there. Keep doing this one background. All right? So go ahead, ask her. Let's see the question. You're going in. This is town hall. You all have to say. Let them hear you. Let them hear you. Go ahead.
All I can say is I can hear all my life. All of my life. All of my life I was here. And choosing between these two parties, the PLP and the FNM. All is the same. All is the same. As a Bahamian, I thought we would see some change in the Bahamas. The book I constantly read as a Bahamian is the benefit of change, written by Miles Monroe, who had a vision for the country in that book, and saw the same things what would have been happening now. In his book, I want every Bahamian to get this book, because when he was alive, these same politicians were scared. Because when Mr. Lincoln being saying now, he was saying, and I'm going to say this, how could you benefit being a politician in the country? You go to school as a Bahamian, you get money from the country, whatever privileges you get, you ride around, you do this, you get all the privileges that Lincoln allowed you to get. You guys, everyone here, you guys, you get the benefit from the Bahamian people. You come with your coat suit, you come with your slick hair, you come with your alcohol, you come with your t-shirts, you come with your everything, your money's under the table to get your benefit. But there's a new high for you guys. There's a new higher loneliness. There's a new higher corruption. There's a new higher everything. I'm gonna say this as a Bahamian. I don't care if you see me, I don't care if you know me. Because the only Mr. Lincoln Bean, when you all think you'll get him, you'll get 50 more like him. That's right. When you think you the support of Mr. Lincoln Bean, you get the other one. It would be many odds for you guys. It would be many odds. But they ain't gonna change. Don't care how much you try longer, bro. Don't care how much you try drugs. I've been here all of my life. And I can tell you all now, Mr. Lincoln Bean opened my eyes. You guys think y'all can escape. But y'all no longer live in this country. I'm telling you, you are no longer live in this country. If you all make this, you all will no longer live in this country. You all will no longer live in this country. Mutiny. You all will no longer live in this country. Your vacations are serious. You're pushing us to a low. You're pushing us. You pushing him like a dog in a corner. We gonna fight. 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 Everything that we are doing costs money. And just like the PLP and FM always doing raising money, we gotta raise money. So we gotta raise money for all the stuff we doing. Alright? And so we got a big mission tomorrow also. We always fight for people, we always there for people. And this is a lot. It's an expense we have to deal with. We got paid for this. You know, we got paid for everything that we're doing. So we want to show you support, you know, by assisting us wherever you can, whatever it is you can do. So if someone in the back, Ron be able to assist us, you don't get it now, but before you leave, Ron is out there. Ron is very trustworthy. And he got plenty money, so he can take the money. That's purposely my grandson. So we gotta raise money. So you all have to give it them. All the other gentlemen next and we need to help to that's Ron about the two volunteers about there. If y'all can sit down, yeah, that's your back there. And Ron back there, right? So they leave it before you leave here or when it comes time, make sure I'm here. All right? So continue. So who has this thing? They will see.
I have worked as a public servant for 46 years, 2.5 months. I'm sorry, but I want to give you a red access of information. Don't away, investigate it. Citizenship was being sold in this country right now. A certain neurosurgeon at the Princess Margaret Hospital where I work. Here's why for every citizenship so that they can vote on both in the election that the last one that the English administration lost. White never lived in the Bahamas. He lived in the US. He came back to go to Bahamas. Okay? Now, you have this role concerning something called Cowpen Road. Okay. I grew up in the same neighborhood. I went to the same school. I worked with him, knowing his son as an elder. He went on summer break, came back with that son. Now, we know that roads are normally from the summer. The road that he carried is not from the summer. The road he carried is my mother's friend from another family, Luther, who his mother Gladys had 2 children for. I know all his speakers, all of them around there. Sylvia, his aunt, and all of them. Okay? George, you know that, sport, okay? So, he rose to the rank of permanent secretary. He was a part of this country. The rank of permanent secretary, he retired, and now he's back. Yes. So himself, they call me in the PM office. I'm not over that, but I tell you one thing. That's something that don't put out to him. Investigate it.
We will. We will. Anyone not going to speak? Okay, come.
Good evening. I'm going to take this time to make sure that the government road, the first one dropped off the back and I keep feeling me on most I feel a different, but I mean, and I don't support my spirit, glory be to God. If I don't give God the praise, then I give the glory. So, you know, I'm the sister Jay, by the way, and I try to stay cool and I try to stay in the radar.
from Canada, from Canada. And I command you to let the prisoners to be ready. Be set and be ready to go to war. I call the police force and the military. If y'all want to come up against us, if y'all want blood to shed in this nation, bring it on. But we have something that stands in our glory be to God. That is bigger and powerful than every machine gun. I tell the Bahamians to stand. If you don't stand, my God, then we become a disgrace to our children and our children's children. This is no time to be quiet. This is no time to be scared. My son is telling me I haven't done this 20 years to prepare in another one. And he said, don't calm down. But I told my boy, if I don't fight this fight, I leave it to you. I said, the wisdom of the Lord is to understand what I have to fight you up. So we gotta fight this fight for the generation. This is no time for us to be quiet. This organization don't run out water. Let everybody tell something. Maybe somebody can give more than another person. But let me tell you this, and I'm gonna sit down right now. We need to fight like that war. We need to let these different prime ministers them know that we have the any woman and men that we are willing to fight. We gotta fight in a bloodshed in this round society. But then the bond is over, glory be to God. And the war has been won. We should stand tall, we should be ready, and some of us may lose, but victory should be ours in the name of Jesus. In Jesus' name I call it done.
Good night, Bahamians. I concur with everything that my sister over there said. I agree with her 1,000%. But we as Bahamian people, we have to stand up. If we don't stand up, we will fall. It seems like all our government parties, they're trying to make the Bahamian extinct. Yes. They don't want to see us surviving. They don't want to see us living. You understand? And I just want to say this, like the lady said, a lot of foreigners, maybe Haitians that I know, they come in, they change their name. They change their name and they put on here. But when you look at it, they only looking out for their own people. They're not looking out for us, you know. During the time when Haiti had the earthquake, my brothers, I lived in the Jamaica area. My brothers, and he was talking to some of the Haitians, and they were angry, saying that our prime minister is not saying what he's going to do. And my brother said, tell me something. What do you want him to do? He cannot say, okay, 1,000 you all come here. So then she said, yeah, but all the other countries say, yeah, but you have to agree with the other parties what's he going to do. So he said, tell me something. If the shoe was on the other foot, and the Bahamians, that's right. Haiti, like the Raiders, Haitians blocking the Bahamas. What you think was going to happen now? What's going to happen? You know what that word was? You will get all your assets. That's right. They will be the best. And that's about something and they will carry all out. So Bahamians, we have to stand. If we don't stand, we will be no more. Yes. I feel that the Lord has a but times such as this, and I believe He will bring us to victory. I'm not afraid to stand and express myself because we need to hurt it. We need to change. You understand? I want you all to stop. I see me even trying to cry. I don't know what to do. Trying to do that. I don't care what's in my face. Okay? I don't care what's in my face. What else I wanted to say now? I get passionate. Yeah. Okay. If we want to see this change, but we really need to go to Parliament Square and fight
Let that sink in.
I'm glad to see, everybody come out and, showing support, I know a lot of, I know a lot of us, made a sacrifice to come out. Like I say, I appreciate, like, everyone coming out, because when I clock and stuff a little, scared. But I'm glad to see that we actually have people who, paying attention to what Mr. Bean, Mr. Green, Mr. Oxen, I'm saying, you know what I mean? And I feel like we need to unite. If we do not unite, like, I don't know if y'all see this from a spiritual realm. I don't know if y'all have, the spirit of discernment. Like, if we don't stand up and fight, like, Independence said, we keep we just lay down and lose our country. You understand? It's time to fight. And I just want to ask one question, we need to say the date in advance because there's no way in the world they could sabotage a march. You understand what I'm saying? But if you give the date in advance, we will have like time to prepare because you have a lot of people who are working would like to come out to show their support. We need you guys to give us a date, a definite date, because at this point we aren't scared anymore. So, to get the Russell Spirit. And in fact, I have two daughters, and that's what I'm fighting for. I never voted in the past of PLP or FNF because I know they've been robbing. I've been watching it. They've been taking the salt, they've been taking the regulate, they've been taking all the minerals, all the minerals. And my family always used to tell me that I don't vote, I don't have a voice, but now I have a voice. I always used to tell them I have a voice, but now I have the people who support the voice that I have. You understand what I'm saying? I can lay down and let people don't do anything to me. I remember one time my uncle told me that I can't beat the system, but together we as the Bahamian people, we can beat the system. You understand what I'm saying? And change is not coming, change is there. I appreciate Mr. Bean, Ms. Green, and all the guys, Ms. Jackson, everybody who support, and all you guys, and everybody out there. I feel like we need to spread this message, take it to the streets, and this is like a thing of animosity. We don't hate the foreigners. You understand what I'm saying? It's just at the end of the day, Bahamians first. If we don't come first, you understand what I'm saying? God first, and then you understand? And then we can deal with y'all. We can't deal with y'all if we don't have nothing. And you all here benefiting more than us. You'll have more rights. You understand? A few weeks ago, my mother was in a hospital, and she couldn't even get a bed. They had the comatose and stuff. This woman couldn't even get a bed. She's a high school teacher. She has books in the school curriculum running sheet that are actually on the school curriculum with the children of the use. My mother, who was a public servant, couldn't get a bed. You understand what I'm saying? So and then someone like me, I don't want to waste up all the time, but like it is, sometimes I just want to get, radical. I feel like that's the only way they understand. But if I go out there and do it by myself, they can just kill me because you know how the police them go. And then they can turn around and say, well, all the young people them be just, you understand, mix up on our head. Where we ain't. We have educated people here. I feel like I was cheated from life because numerous times I took the defense force test. And I had enough credentials. I had EJCs, EGCSEs, and they never hired me on the defense force. I was working 2 or 3 jobs trying to put myself to flight school. I'm amputated. And this Union government send NIB send the police to my house one time and it's writing fraudulent checks. I never write the fraudulent checks. I have so much times when I could have gone and shoot the Bahamian government, but I always just said, you understand what I'm saying? Take it down. Because I didn't have it. But I feel like it's time to real the fight. They come into everything when they give me all my opportunities. You know what's time to put on fight for something like that? Numerous times. And these people would not, want me a brand for Crown Land. And I'm a young man who comes from Long Island who know about farm, like grow up doing farm, like grow up doing border tomato and things. Some mornings I can go to school, but we used to do border tomato with goat pepper and stuff. Like I used to be swell up. You understand what I'm saying? So I know about farming. So why would you try to disenfranchise and disadvantage me and not allow me to have a piece of Crown Land? So I get farm for my daughters. So I have to turn into criminal activity. I gotta probably go run humans or this thing and that. It shouldn't be that way, man. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take one more, and then we'll have to shut down.
Good night. Good night to Mr. Lee.
the ball at I must give, first of all, honor and glory to God Almighty. Because why? 2020, the beginning of the lockdown, I couldn't walk for 2 months. And I promised God, if He raises me up again, I will speak to Him. And I told Him, I said, God, I will give you honor and glory wherever I go, first of all. But let me tell you something, first of all. We are royal priesthood. We are holy nation. This is what God told me. Don't be afraid. Don't let no one keep you down. Don't worry with those politicians. Their days are numbered. Their days are numbered. And I try shame on you all. You all are in disgrace. God is angry with the wickedness you all are doing. You all know it is wickedness. I'm scared of your pa, your mom, none of you all. I live in name is Anthony Vincent Edstrom. I'm scared of none. I give glory. Like I want a God, and only God I am afraid of. Because I was on my deathbed. I was stricken with the stroke and heart attack was taking my body. And I promised God, I said, God, if you spare my life, I will preach the gospel for you and I will not be afraid. I will let dying man know they need to repent. They need to turn back to God. Some of these things what are happening to us, these are the acts and the works of God trying to get our attention. Anytime I should Israel turn their backs on God, God allow the foreigners to come in and overthrow them. Understand what's going on. Have a good night. Mr. Davis, and you all, come on, you all better get serious. Stand up. You don't know God, but you're going to meet Him face to face. And you all, as you all have done. Prime Minister Ingram and Terry Christie, all of you all are going to be judged by the Almighty God. Have a very good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, with some of the ammunition that I've just given you, you now have the facts. These are the kinds of things they always try to hide from you. But I'm telling you what I'm about to do. I'm about to pick a fight. I'm about to pick a fight for our country. Is the rest of us here ready? We ready. I'm ready to take this country back. And they're not going to pass any bill against us. If we said no twice, it's no. No means no. No means no. No means no. No means no. So, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as they open up our house, we got to pay them a visit at our house to let them know what the word no means. That's right. When Minister and NPO didn't know, but we can let them know that no means no. And we mean that. We cannot let them give away our country. They are doing everything right in front of our faces like they don't care. Like we don't have no choice. So all we ask you to do tonight, you are here. Fund us, support us. I know some of you went to the back, but some of you can come to the front. And they got a nice drink behind here. We got to fund this movement. And we got to make sure that we are here to stand up for all of our Bahamian people. You can't imagine the amount of work that me and Maria do on a daily basis. I was traveling to States with my family, and a fellow called me and said, this child got kidnapped from in the Bahamas and was taken to the United States of America. They wanted me to help track down their child. Everything we do don't make social media, don't make the news. They didn't know where. It was another situation like we did a few months ago where an unfit mother had taken the child and gone. And the whole family is worried about the child. So we found the child all over in Minnesota. And now today the child is back here in Nassau, Bahamas. Every day we have serious issues just like this to deal with. I only got a certain amount of hours in the day, so only can take. So some people try to reach me, they can't. I can only do what I can do. But I know one thing. We got to fund this movement to get this government out. Tommy tell me that back in the day, he used to give money to the church. We don't want no money from the oligarchs. We don't want their money. Obama couldn't get no money when he started. And so he went to the people at $1, $2 at a time. He raised the money to do what he had to do. $1, $2 at a time, we can do this. You can go to our website, you can fund, etc., do what you have to do. You can see what we are doing. If you can't see it, then I understand. When I was a part of the FNL, I couldn't see where the money was going. I know what they were doing with it. Because they didn't pay the headquarters, so yeah, as long as you get paid from them. I know they're doing with it. You can see what we are doing. You can see it. And so we are going to take this country back, but it's going to take all of your support. So thank you, everyone who has been contributing in their very own way. I believe in the New Bahamas. This is the last thing I want to say before we close. I would thank St. Gregory's for allowing us to be here. A lot of places were afraid for us to have a event at their place. A lot of places were. While I was out for 8 hours, I had a vision. I had a dream. I had a dream for the New Bahamas. It was delivered to me. 8 areas of this Bahamas. 8 is the number of new beginnings. 8 areas of New Bahamas that we're going to reveal to you. 8 areas. That didn't happen in vain. I woke up and I was like, wow. I'm not sick. I'm pregnant. So what I was experiencing was morning sickness. But this baby is coming forward. And this baby is called the New Bahamas. And so all of us are going to deliver this baby. Because I'm not the only one pregnant. All of us are pregnant. They say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. There's many of us. And we are going to dream our way into the New Bahamas. And so when we call you, come. We call you on a work day, sacrifice, take the day off. Let's go there and just let them know. This ain't an old crew. This is a new set of Bahamians. So thank all of you all for being here. Thank the thousands of people who are watching from social media. But let me tell you something. If thousands of you show up on Russell Square and refuse to go, government gone immediately. They will call and they will be gone. If hundreds of you go up there and show up, they can change their mind on certain bills. They can say you're serious. But if thousands of you show up, government change immediately. It's not just every 5 years. There's international laws and conventions. If you show up and refuse to leave, their job is to stench. To tell you go. Once you stench back, they gotta go. We're gonna make a clarion call to let them know we tired of what y'all been doing to us because we know the truth. And so for all of you who are ready, I am ready. So thank you. The New Bahamas is not a dream. The New Bahamas is reality. Change ain't coming. Change ain't coming. See you next time.
Let that sink in. Come on. Dangerous, yeah. You feel it, yeah. Competition, yeah. Don't make myself well. So you know what to do. Don't think that why you laughing? 15 money. No one has to hope to figure out this money. Changes, yeah, they say change ain't coming, but changes, yeah, like say change ain't coming, but changes, yeah, like say change ain't coming, nigga, changes, yeah. Now if you ain't standing with us, then I know you against us. There's 15 no time for us to be loose war. This is war. And we ride into the storm. Come on. Shalom, Almighty, we something that has to be, brother, I think I can't forget the
Praise the Lord and keep the Father and God. We can celebrate. I can do it for my kids. They ain't even going there ready. Check that. Time to collect. See, I've been robbing my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and grandfather. It's like y'all can't get enough. Y'all just keep eating and eating and giving us nothing but taxes. Y'all ain't even as far as to say that this country's in debt. If we ain't got no money, we're not time to tell everybody this country's bigger than. It's time to wake up. Let's talk about natural resources, because every time you bring it up, they hold your horses. They eat in with the things, the word of picture. Here's my thing, open up the business, it's across the water. You track it across the water. They say this country is dead, but they're making millions. If we don't stop it now, maybe up to billions. About to go down, and I get the billions. Gotta cut them, we deserve it. The only thing is pain and the same, with information. It's like it's like so much facts and they can't deny it. They manage it, they're not before they start right. And I don't know how they try to get still. They punish me. They're driving what we was sleeping. Let's give it to you. We don't really want to but free up. Now let that sink in. Come on. Change is change is here. You can hear it, you can feel it in the air. All gotta do is put your hands in the air. This is the way you make myself flare. So you know what to do. They got to do. Figure out this money. Change ain't coming. Change is here. The change ain't coming. The change is here. The change ain't coming. The change is here. The change ain't coming. The change is here. Now, if you ain't standing with us, then I know you against us. This ain't no time for us to be lukewarm. This is war. And we riding through the storm. Come on. Let's go. Shalom, all my evil brothers. Come on, my ones on the last one. I know. I can't forget the Christian. It's different. The difference is the size against the bigger mission. See, they've been doing it for years, trying to separate us. Trying to keep us trying to elevate us. Now it's time to praise the Lord and He's about to take us. Who the promise that we can celebrate us. I got to do it for my kids. They ain't even know it. They going there ready. Gotta check that, check that. I have that time to collect. So people know how to do that. See, y'all been robbing my grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, and grandfather. It's like y'all can't get enough. Y'all just keep eating and eating and giving us nothing but taxes. Y'all ain't even as far as to say this country's in debt. If we ain't got no money, we're not time to tell everybody this country's pocket they're making it. It's time to wake up.
Let's talk about natural resources. Cause every time we bring it up, they hold your walks and they with the thing, with the word of passion. We want to put out the business across the borders. We drag across the water. Country down, but they make it millions. Down, we have the billions. It's about to go down, and I get the feeling. These are people that want to play it, with information. Everything with pride. It's like so much facts that they can't deny. It's like they keep their mouths shut before they start a riot. And I love how they try to conceal it all. They don't want to share it down. They've been robbing us while we were sleeping.